Cooper Surgical IVF Lawsuit. In this video, we'll discuss the Cooper Surgical IVF Lawsuit, the devastating impact this defective product has had on families pursuing in vitro fertilization, IVF. The details of the product recall, the legal claims surrounding negligent practices, the steps you can take to seek justice if your fertility journey has been affected, and much more. The December 2023 recall of Cooper Surgical's IVF solution was triggered by the discovery that the embryo culture media lacked crucial nutrients, specifically magnesium, necessary for healthy embryo growth. This deficiency in the media risked the viability of embryos during crucial development stages in IVF procedure. The defective media were distributed under the Life Global brand and used by fertility clinics worldwide. Despite the serious nature of the defect, Cooper Surgical's handling of the recall drew significant criticism. The company initially communicated the recall to fertility clinics, instructing them to cease using the affected lots. However, this recall notice was not promptly or broadly publicized to the public, leaving many patients unaware of the potential impact on their fertility treatments. This lack of transparency has been a key point of contention, as timely knowledge of the recall could have prevented further use of the defective products, potentially sparing many families from emotional and financial distress. The delay in adequately notifying all stakeholders not only heightened the risks associated with the defective media, but also contributed to the broader fallout among affected families. The Cooper Surgical IVF lawsuit stems from claims that the company's embryo culture media was defective, lacking critical nutrients, and causing the destruction of viable embryos. This issue led to a recall in December 2023 after impacting thousands globally. The lawsuits alleged negligence, product defects, and failure to warn, arguing that the delayed recall worsened the situation. Affected families are pursuing compensation for emotional and financial losses. If you underwent IVF treatments and suspect your embryos were compromised by this defective media, you might be eligible to join the litigation. Our firm is actively supporting families to secure compensation for emotional distress, financial loss, and related medical costs. For more details or to check your eligibility for a lawsuit, contact TorHoerman Law for a free consultation or use the chatbot on our website. We understand the profound impact of this issue on families and are here to help. The lawsuit alleges that the company's embryo culture media, essential for supporting embryo growth, lacked critical nutrients like magnesium, leading to the destruction of viable embryos during IVF treatments. This defect caused significant losses for many families whose embryos failed to develop correctly. The product was recalled in December 2023, affecting roughly 20,000 patients worldwide. The lawsuits claim negligence, defective manufacturing, inadequate product testing, and a failure to adequately inform patients of the risks. Plaintiffs argue that the recall was delayed, allowing more patients to suffer harm, while the company allegedly prioritized profit over safety. Legal actions are now being pursued to seek compensation for the emotional and financial damages incurred by affected families. Lawyers are actively filing claims to address these grievances, focusing on recovering losses related to emotional distress and medical expenses. The lawsuits against Cooper Surgical center on claims that their defective embryo culture media caused significant harm during IVF procedures. These legal actions are based on several key theories. Strict product liability. Plaintiffs argue that Cooper Surgical sold a defective product that impaired embryo development, leading to losses. They claim the company is liable for any resulting harm, irrespective of intent or knowledge of the defect. Negligence. The lawsuits accuse Cooper Surgical of failing to properly test, design, and manufacture the embryo culture media, which they allege resulted in widespread embryo loss. The company's delayed recall further exemplifies their negligence, according to the claims. Failure to warn. Plaintiffs assert that Cooper Surgical knew or should have known about the product's defects, but did not adequately warn patients or clinics. The recall was issued quietly, leaving many unaware of the risks during their IVF treatments. Trespass to chattels. This less common claim in product liability cases suggests that Cooper Surgical's defective product unlawfully interfered with personal property, specifically patients' embryos. Unjust enrichment. The lawsuits also contend that Cooper Surgical unjustly profited from the sale of the faulty media, benefiting at the expense of patients who suffered emotional and financial losses. These claims collectively seek to hold Cooper Surgical accountable for the damages incurred by families who trusted their products during sensitive medical procedures. The Cooper Surgical IVF lawsuits are currently organized as individual cases rather than a class action, but may be consolidated into a multi-district litigation, MDL. This legal process aims to streamline pretrial proceedings by centralizing over 30 related lawsuits in the Northern District of California. Unlike a class action where outcomes apply to all members, an MDL allows individual cases to be tried separately after joint pretrial activities. If not settled during MDL, cases may return to their original courts for trial. Fertility patients who have suffered the loss of embryos due to Cooper Surgical's action are filing lawsuits against the company. Embryo loss lawsuits aim to hold Cooper Surgical accountable for the defective media that impaired embryo development and shattered families' hopes of having children. If you have experienced the devastating loss of embryos due to Cooper Surgical's defective IVF media, you may have the right to file a lawsuit. Contact the experienced attorneys at TorHoerman Law for a free consultation. Use the chatbot on our website, TorHoermanLaw.com, for a free case evaluation and to get in touch with our lawyers today. Lawyers.